Hello everyone, my name is Ty Smith, and if you've been confused on when to use an ABO campaign versus a CBO campaign, continue to watch this video because I'm going to go over exactly how I use both of these campaign types to help scale my clients and get them really good results on their campaign. So before we get into it, what exactly is an ABO campaign and what is a CBO campaign? So an ABO campaign is basically you setting the budget at the ad set level. So each individual ad set that you create within that campaign gets its own individual budget. A CBO campaign, or a campaign budget optimization campaign, or what is now called an actual Advantage Plus campaign, is basically you give Facebook the budget that you want to spend, and then you allow Facebook to distribute that budget amongst those different ad sets that you have, giving you a little bit less control, but letting Facebook optimize on whatever it feels like is going to use your money best for to get you the best cost per acquisition. Now, what is the best time to use a ABO campaign? The best time to use an ABO campaign is when you want to test out different audiences within your campaign. And basically, I use this to first get an idea of what audiences are going to be best before I actually start scaling them, because you just don't want to just blindly just put whatever audience into a CBO campaign and hope that it does its best. You want to do testing first and get the data back to see what campaign is actually going to be what's going to be the most beneficial to your campaign overall. So for an example, let's say that you're a fitness coach and you have a $100 a day daily budget. You would then, inside of your ABO campaign, you'd create however many different campaigns that or how many other different ad sets that you want to test, ad sets equaling audiences, and distribute that budget or divvy up that budget amongst the different ad sets. So if your daily budget is $100 and you want to try and you want to test out 5 different audiences, you'd give $20 to each of those individual audiences, and then you'd run your test for 3 to 4 days, see which one's going to give you your best cost per acquisition or cost per lead or whatever your goal for the campaign is. And then from there, once you figure out which one is giving you the best CPL or cost per acquisition, you can then turn off the ones that are performing poorly and then keep on the ones that are giving you the best cost per acquisition. So for example, let's say that you're a fitness coach and you have 5 different ad sets. These 5 different ad sets can be health and fitness, yoga, running, diet, and healthy foods. Let's say after you've ran this campaign for about 3 to 4 days and the data comes back to you and that you see that you're getting an average CPL of $16 on health and fitness, an average CPL of $30 on yoga, an average CPL of $12 on running, an average CPL of $45 on diet, and an average CPL of $25 on healthy foods. So it's clear to see which ones are obviously the winners, the ones that are closest to our goal CPL, which is $10. The goal CPL in this example is $10. So we would basically keep the ones that are closest to that CPL and turn off all the other ones that are way far off. And even though the health and fitness and the running are not exactly our goal CPL, which is $10, there is some optimizations that we can most definitely make on the ad level by turning off different ads that may be running up those costs and turning those off. And then overall, that will help us get closer to our ideal cost per lead in this example. So obviously our winners are health and fitness and the running ad sets. Now, once you get this data back after running those ads for 3 to 4 days and you see which ones are the winners, and now you have your winners, what you would then do, and this is what I do for my clients, is that I then move these winning ad sets over to a CBO campaign where I can then scale these ad sets up and get them to be the best optimized that they can be inside of a CBO campaign. And basically, once you get them inside of the CBO campaign, oh, and also I forgot to mention, when you're testing out different interests and stuff like that, or different audiences, and there is some potential audience overlap, another thing that you can test is you can combine those 2 interests if they do have audience overlap. Obviously, health and fitness and the running interests, they're gonna have some audience overlap. So something that you can do before you move these over to a CBO campaign is stack these two interests together inside of that same ABO campaign, and then see if the combination of those two audiences being together will give you a better cost per lead. And it's definitely something to always test. And if it does, then instead of just testing out those instead of throwing those two individual interests into the CBO campaign, you can just throw the stacked interest into the CBO campaign instead. So so now it's time to actually move over to the CBO campaign. So basically, when you're creating a CBO campaign, you're letting Facebook decide where that budget that you have is going to be distributed to. And now, since we have our winners and we have them inside of this CBO campaign, obviously inside of your CBO campaign or your scaling campaign, you're going to be spending a lot more money, but you're going to be spending money on ad sets that you know are already going to give you a good CPL because we already tested it. So with that being said, you would take the campaign budget. So you use this campaign budget optimization to scale up. So say for instance, in this example with the fitness coach, we have a $200 a day daily budget. We then take this $200 a day daily budget, throw it into a CBO campaign with those two audiences or that stacked audience that we are now wanting to scale up. From there, what we would do is then we would take this. We would then just let Facebook distribute that budget between, say if we're in the example, if we had those two interests and we're throwing those into a CBO campaign to scale up, then Facebook will distribute that $200 amongst those two interests by the day, depending on what's going to give the best CPL. So some days Facebook may say, hey, we're going to put $180 towards your health and fitness ad set because it's going to give you the best cost per lead that day, and then only $20 towards the diet. And then the next day it may be flipped, or it may be 50-50, or whatever Facebook is deciding is going to give you the best cost per acquisition during that day, depending on who they can find that's going to resonate best with your ad within those audiences that we're now scaling up. And the best thing about a CBO campaign is that with the proven audiences, you'll now be able to scale up and get out of the learning phase a lot more quicker. And once you get your first 50 optimization events, whatever that's going to be, rather that be your cost per lead or cost per purchase or whatever your target CPA is, you'll then be able to solidify those results and get consistent results a lot faster because you already have proven those audiences, and now you just dump them into a CPO campaign, into a CBO campaign. And that's how I use ABO and CBO campaigns to help my clients scale up their campaign launches. I hope that you guys found this video very helpful. If you like more videos like this, please make sure to leave a like. And also, if you have any questions about ABO and CBO campaigns, feel free to just comment down below. I'll answer them as quickly as I can. And as well, if you guys want more content like this around Facebook ads, marketing, business, and entrepreneurship in general, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll be having content coming out on a weekly basis. Again, my name is Ty Smith, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.